You were listening to episode 295 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John, and here on the Game Deflators Podcast, we like to talk about games we recently picked up, games we're currently playing, and we pit two iconic franchises against each other in this week's Inflation Deflation Challenge. All right, so we're going to be playing some Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the PlayStation 2. And this week, filling in for Ryan is Will from the PlayStation Ain't Dead podcast.
Hello! How you doing, John?
Doing good. Thanks for coming on, dude.
No problem.
I'm glad you could play this $150-something video game with me this week.
Well, I kind of cheated. I played the PS3 version.
Oh, you didn't use the preservation device?
No, I don't have it. I never bothered getting on the preservation device. I don't have a physical anymore. I've had it digitally on PS3 since it came out.
Oh, okay. And so then we get two perspectives.
Yeah, supposedly the PS2 version is the worst version to play.
I've heard the Xbox version is actually a worse version.
There's this guy I follow named Maximilian Dude. He's all about fighting games, and he's super excited for MVC2 coming out in the collection, and it's Dreamcast and arcade are on top, PS3 and Xbox 360 next, and at the bottom is the PS2. So
interesting. Okay, well then I played the worst version, and I have the Xbox version too.
Did you play? Do you have the disc, or do you?
Yeah, I got the physical disc for both. I've had probably 4 copies of that game over the last few years.
Yeah, that game's come in and out of my collection so many times, but I'm afraid it's going to get bought. Do you think it's going to get knocked out? The price is going to take a couple notches down.
Oh yeah, we talked about it in your podcast a few weeks back, and I think my position was like, yeah, it was going to go down in price just a little bit, like it should settle out. So we'll see.
I'm sorry, I don't remember. I was drinking that evening.
Honestly, I don't remember either. It was late, so by the time we got in there. But we'll talk about that a little bit more in the inflation deflation segment of the week. But this week, news-wise, we're going to be talking about Game Pass price increases, Magic the Gathering fans getting pissed off, and video games you really don't want in your collection. So this stems, of course, from our conversation the other day on Facebook, which should be pretty fun. All right, but before we start, you can find the Game Deflators on the GameDeflators.com, our currently out-of-date website. You can find us on YouTube. Search up Game Deflators. We've got podcast audio, we've got recordings, gameplay, tons of stuff on there, which I'll get into this in a minute with you on the gameplay because something pissed me off on YouTube. You can also find us on social media at Game Deflators on X, at The Game Deflators on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. You're also listening to a podcast on a podcast application. Go ahead and like, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review. We'd greatly appreciate it.
Do you know that all off the top of your head, or do you have that written down in front of you?
I know it all off the top of my head, dude. And then if you want to let the folks know where to find you.
PlayStation Ain't Dead on YouTube. Find us any of the Facebook groups, PS2 Ain't Dead, PS3 Ain't Dead, PS4, etc. I don't remember the rest. I'm on Twitter X. I think that's Will Ain't Dead. I may have jinxed myself with that moniker, but we're running with it. Also Will Ain't Dead on Instagram, and I think that's pretty much it.
And if you actually go on there, the channel might be dead.
No, we're doing all right. I try not to look at the numbers, but I think we're doing good.
Oh, I'm talking about your own personal.
Oh, damn it!
Yeah, if you don't use it, then it's dead, right?
No, I probably once a week I'll post on something on Twitter, and but all my followers are bot prostitutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're e-girls. Dude, ever since Elon Musk bought Twitter, like I want to say we have like a follower 2 per week from like some random stripper.
Yeah, and
like, it's ridiculous. So of course I block them because I'm like, I'm not gonna inflate my numbers with this. I've looked at other individuals on there, and you'll go through and you're like, oh, who do they follow or who follows them? And it's like, okay, that's clearly a bot. So all of our people that we follow are actually legit, and the people that follow us are legit too.
I try and keep up. On Instagram, I get rid of them, but the Twitch, excuse me, the Twitter bot, the Twitter prostabots. Can we call them that?
Rustabots.
Yeah, the hookers on there. Yeah, I keep them on. I want to pad those numbers because I have zero audience on Twitter.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good on Twitter. We got, I think it's close to 1,800 now, which is kind of nice. So
Oh
that's
wow.
always good. Yeah, it's good stuff. All right. Well, I'll be a gentleman, and I will say you get to go first on any games that you are currently playing right now.
Oh, currently, well, I just turned off Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
So you're currently playing it.
Yeah, I started. Which one is it? Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I picked up the PS2 copy recently, so
Talking about prostitutes, yeah.
Yeah, I put some time into that one. Damn, what have I been playing? As I look up over there and see what it's on the shelf. Oh, I tried Kingdom Hearts. I didn't care for it.
It's funny. My wife actually just restarted Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I'll pass on that one. But PUBG is always not much new. I haven't played much of anything this week. I just been busy, but a pile of games there. Playing a lot of PS2 more these days is kind of weird.
Gotcha.
And, what's that one? The wrestling girls.
The volleyball. Rumble Roses.
Rumble Roses. Yes, I've been putting a lot of time in that, but I wait till everybody goes to sleep before I play that one. I don't want anybody walking in on me playing that one.
Is that actually kind of good? You've been playing it for a few weeks.
It is probably the best wrestling mechanics I've ever seen in any video game. Yeah, and,
I'll have to check it out then. I do have a copy, I think.
Yeah, these WWE people might get upset at me, but no. Rumble Rose is just it's hilarious. It's just so corny. The dialogue and yeah, and it's got a couple dabs of horniness in it. So yeah, you might enjoy it.
Dabs of horniness.
Yeah.
Let me see if I got Rumble Roses. It says no, apparently, in my collection. I'm gonna have to double check because I'm pretty sure I do have it. If not, I might just buy it.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to inflate the price on it now that it's in my collection again. So yeah, everybody go out and buy Rumble Roses. Make it worth the $1 million it is. Let's actually get a good game that's worth something. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, for sure. Well, other than that, you got any pickups this week?
Yeah, I just picked up, like I said, GTA Vice City. I picked up today. I picked up GTA 3. I have some Japanese game coming from a friend of mine in New Jersey. I don't remember what it's called, but
I was expecting you to say like Okinawa or something. You're like New Jersey.
No, he bought it. He's a filthy reseller, and I get first crack, so he shows me a big pile, and I was like, "Ooh, what's that game?" I look it up, and that's when I decide if I like it or want to play it or not. It's some weird game. It's a fighting game, but it's got like lolly characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
these young girls dressed like little Bo Peep. I don't know. And
I'm sensing a trend here right now in your current. Are you having a midlife crisis?
Oh, no. This isn't. I like Japanesey stuff. What can I say? And they don't come more Japanesey than is this something 2-0 ho.
Did you say 2-0 hole or ho? What'd you say?
2-0 TOUHOU. How would you pronounce that?
I don't know. I thought you said 2-0 ho, and I was like,
no,
okay.
2-0 ho okay. Something in limbo. And yeah, but I've been slowing down on the pickups. Always slow down.
Yeah, same here.
Wintertime is when I kick in.
Yeah, there's Prime Day starts up this
17th and 18th.
16th and 17th.
16th and 17th. Okay, good.
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing some pickups there most likely.
Hold on a minute. I gotta grab my stack and let's see. Raiden 4 Cross Mikado Remix, 99 Vitas, Hardcore Mecha. Oh yeah, that's one I just got. Hardcore Mecha. This one looks good. Well, I'm showing you. The people at home who only listening, they can't see me showing this.
I'll do my best to describe it as a PS4 game from a foreign country. It says Hardcore Mecha.
Yes, this is a Chinese English version. Yeah, it's like a beat 'em up and with mecha, straight out of Gundam. But yeah,
that's pretty cool. How much was that?
35.
That's not too bad.
Oh, and Dead Rising 4. I've been playing that. Forgot about that. Rising 4, Frank's big package.
Okay.
Yeah. With the new one coming out, I thought I should revisit it. Who knows? These might.
Again, the trends. Japanese girls, rumble roses, and big packages.
Oh. And robots. Don't forget robots.
And robots. Yeah.
Robots.
You're at that phase in your life where you'd love to own a Gundam.
No, I got plenty of robots over there on the shelf, but
yeah, some of them talk.
What are you talking
about? They're life size.
No, those are too expensive. I've looked into it, but no, not yet.
Oh man, you know you can probably get a used one pretty cheap.
You can get a used one.
Okay,
I'll finance a brand new one. So
finance it. Gonna go to what's that rental place called? You know what I'm talking about, though, where you could finance like a PlayStation 5 and it'll cost you $1,000 over a lifetime instead of $500.
Rent-A-Center?
Yeah, Rent-A-Center.
Spencer's? I don't know. But no, earlier in the show I said I hate AI, but if they yeah, there you go. There's finally. Well,
all right, well, let's dive into my currently playing. So I am continuing off Alundra right now. I'm about a little over halfway through the game on Alundra, and you know, as I mentioned on your podcast and continue to complain on this podcast, it annoys the shit out of me. It's just the pixel precision platforming is just ridiculous, man. Like the game itself isn't like terrible. It's just my wife was watching me the other day playing it, and I'm in this room where I had to jump between, like, there's a floor of spikes and there's 4 torches in the middle, and there's water dripping on all of the sections that you have to jump on to get to other torches that you have to light. So basically you have to go across the spikes, grab a torch, go across the spikes again, light another torch, rinse and repeat 4 times. Okay. All the meanwhile with this like platform precision platforming. Like it's ridiculous, dude. Like that's how much I'm hating is I'm saying platforming so often. And dude, I went through like seriously 30 or 40 minutes. I'm just trying to get through this damn level. She's like, have you thought about quitting? I'm like, no, I can't quit because I can't give Ryan the satisfaction of quitting a game and then allowing him to do a punishment at the end of the year. Like, this is my new game's resolution. I can't just quit it. So that's where we are now, but it's kind of eased up a little bit in the last few dungeons I've started. And I looked it up, and apparently that dungeon I was in, that, God, I wanted to like break the control in half. Like first time I ever wanted to like rage quit and destroy a controller. That apparently is the hardest dungeon in the game. Oh, well, so, you know, so go figure.
Put that behind pixel perfect jumping. So,
dude, it's like, and what I mean by that, if somebody's not familiar, is if you were literally on the edge of something and you were looking, if you were to magnify in, your heel is like on a pixel, essentially. Like you were that close between falling off the edge and still maintaining your position on whatever ledge it is. And you have to do that so often in the game. Sometimes at like ridiculous rates of speed. Like we're talking jumping from 3 different platforms because something is coming down from the ceiling to hit you type of situation. So not exactly my favorite game. It's pretty difficult. And it's one of those situations where you might say like, hey, maybe you're just not good at video games. It's like, no, that's not the case. Like I played a lot of difficult games and I don't mind them so much. This one is more so just the sheer stupidity of how difficult it is. Like it doesn't have to be that hard because I love platformers. Right now I'm not loving them so much. But yeah, there's just something about it. And I heard that Brave Fencer Musashi, Ryan's talked about that being another one that's just like stupid hard when it comes to like platforming. Just for whatever reason, it's just difficult. So
what are you playing it on?
I'm playing it on PS1, but I'm using my PlayStation 3.
There you go.
Yeah. So obviously with the, you know, wireless controllers, that's the benefit of it. And then the other game I'm playing right now with my wife is The Medium on PS5. So we have continued through that one. We're about, we just got out of the Niwa Hotel or Resort, whatever it is, if people are kind of, you know, keeping along with us here. Dude, it's fantastic. It's like this nice blend of Silent Hill meets, you know, investigation type situation. Like just, you're a medium, right? You're trying to figure out what the hell's happening, find clues, solve various puzzles, but it has that creepiness of Silent Hill while kind of tagging in the investigative component of trying to figure out the story and what's actually happening around you while having that slight bit of creepiness coming through as well. So the game actually has this demon character called Maw, who refers to you as his skin suit as he chases you around. So I just uploaded a recording on YouTube last night. We were streaming it, and he's chasing us around, and he's like, come here, my little skin suit. And he's just like rushing through as like it transitions between this hellish landscape of one part of the medium and then the normal world that you in as he chases you invisibly. It's creepy as shit, dude. Like, it's great, but we're enjoying it. Like, it's a good time so far. And the thing I was going to bring up to you in terms of streaming and what pissed me off, I didn't realize that the PS5 screws up on streaming sometimes.
How
So I was streaming the other day, part 6, which means I'm actually going to have to go back because there's no chapter selection in this game. I have to replay like the first 2.5 hours to get back to this. Basically, I was streaming part 6. It didn't actually stream, even though it said it was streaming. And so we finish our stream, we end it. We're like, okay, cool. That's it. Go to bed. I look online the next morning, I'm like, where's part 6? It's not there. And apparently that is something that's common with the PlayStation 5, where you hit stream and it doesn't stream, even though it says it is. So that sucks because that was an hour of gameplay that's just gone. So gonna go back once we beat the game, and I'll just kind of restart. I know all the puzzles and all the stuff that's tied to that, so it should be pretty straightforward to just kind of dive in and do that.
And pull out your phone and make sure it's streaming before you.
We did that last night, actually. We're like, oh, look, how many people are watching? Myself. I'm not doing it for like views or anything like that, like other people jumping in and commenting and watching a stream. It's more so just to kind of have the gameplay there so we can watch it back later. Or if somebody does want to watch a playthrough of a game, they don't have to listen to somebody annoyingly talk over it. They could just kind of watch video of the game,
You don't do color commentary over your...
Hell no.
Oh, man.
No. I've considered it, but it's just one of those things like, do I really... I want to enjoy the game, dude. I want to have to talk to anybody. Like,
no.
No.
I tried streaming PUBG a while back. It was on Twitch. It was years and years ago. And I did. My problem was I would forget to comment at all or even speak at all, and it was just boring just watching the. But I don't know. I don't think I gotta concentrate too much on the game to be able to say anything. But
yeah, that's kind of my thought too. It's like I don't want to have to sit there and talk it over, and I don't have the setup for it. Like, realistically, I could stream like on my PC, but I'm not going to do that right now. I've considered it, but I just don't want to be on camera and have all of that set up. I might do like this on video, like the podcast with Ryan. Like, we might over time convert to some video. But in terms of streaming and sitting there and trying to concentrate and getting pissed off and frustrated people seeing that, it's like, not interested. So
you should move to a video medium. You and Ryan are you're handsome young men.
I appreciate that, Will. Let's talking about handsome individuals. Let's go into our next topic. So, do you have the Guy game, Will, for PS2? Is it in your collection? And if not, what are other games that you prefer to keep out of your collection?
It was in my collection when I was doing my PS2 full set quest. It was in my collection. I was water damaged. Well, I hope that was water damaged. But it came in.
Looking back on it, like, water is kind of crusty.
Yeah, it was. When people describe it, it's crinkly. Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah, no, yours was shattering. That's what it was.
Yeah, drop it just shatters like a fine china. But no, I never played it. Like I said, it sat on my shelf. I was just it was another stepping stone to a complete collection. But no, I've never played it. I've never even watched gameplay. I mean, I only knew after the fact. After I heard the infamous story.
Yeah. If you don't know the story, just Google it. We're not going to talk about it here because we'll get flagged. Yeah, no, we'll get flagged as to what the story is. So just look up the Guy game illegal, and yeah, there you go. You'll thank you. Will you thank us later? I don't know. I don't know if he'll thank us. I at one point had in my collection as well, but I will say I was under the age of 17 when I did. I don't remember how we got our hands on it.
So that makes it okay?
Well, hey, look, I think it makes it okay if I'm under the age of 17 at that point. So yeah, at one point, one of our friends brought it over. I don't know how he got it, and yeah, so we played it when we were younger, of course, in our teenage years. It made sense to play it. And it wasn't very good. I recall us kind of being like, "Oh, those are nice.
Yeah.
Okay." I mean, it was during the days of LimeWire, right? Like, who needed to play the guy game? When I could just throw like 20 viruses on my computer. So
From what I understand, it's like spring MTV Spring Break game show type thing with
it's like Girls Gone Wild mixed with trivia video game with weird hula hoops and bouncy balls and things like that. So if you're listening, that's your visual, kind of get an idea of what it's about. But you might want to look up why you shouldn't have it in your collection first. Um, which, I think technically the legality of it, there's, I sent you an article on it. Like,
yeah.
I don't think it's like like, like there's like it was
It's
never truly called out as like, yes, this is illegal to own. It's more of the assumption people have based on the content that's in there that it is illegal. Um, But all of that said, if you're going for, in your opinion, if you're going for a PS2 collection, every single game that's been released in North America, is
yeah.
this a game that you have to have in your collection to say, I have every PS2 game?
Yeah, well, most definitely. I mean, just despite what's on there, I mean, you're not buying. I guess it's all about intention. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
If you're going out and you're buying that game with the intent of getting all horny on the
Don't do
contents
that.
therein,
Yeah.
huh?
You
Don't-
just buy Rumble Roses. That's all you need to do.
Rumble Roses. It, I I downplayed the horniness of Rumble Roses. It is a very horny game.
So,
but all the characters depicted are of age. We could say that. But yeah, if you're going for a full set, you got to have it. And but it's like you said, it's not a good game. At least I've been told. I haven't played it, so it's just something to fill in that slot. Take up that space.
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, in worst case scenario, if you really wanted to, you could print out the cover, get a manual, throw it in there, and be like, I got that at least.
Yeah.
I have a complete collection of everything except the disc on this one. So what about any other games? Anything else that you just wouldn't be caught dead having in your collection?
I have most of the games most people wouldn't be caught dead having in the collection, if I'm being honest, but I don't play them. I just I haven't.
You have a
I'm gonna
great
fit-
copy of Mary Kate and Ashley on horses, so I think you
Okay,
don't have limits.
That's not a great copy. That was a gag, by the way. In case you're, did you think it was real?
He has a great copy, folks.
No. Yeah, I wish I did. I opened. My girlfriend yelled at me for opening the sealed copy that I had when we already have one open on the shelf. But the Senran Kagura games, are you familiar?
No. Wait,
No,
probably. I think so, actually. Go ahead and describe them for me.
there's just ECCHI, I believe it's a Japanese word for horny game, really. And it's just jiggle physics and half this is a serious slice of collecting here, John.
Go on. It's
jiggle physics, fan service, that sort of thing. Girls scantily clad, and as they fight, they lose more clothing, but of course, it doesn't get all the way down to nudity. One of the few platinum games I've platinumed, Hentai versus Evil, has zero hentai in it, but it's just the title, just to grab you.
I bought this. It's false advertising.
It totally is. There's quite a few games like that, but I just like to collect them. I don't play them. Does that make me any more or less creepy? I don't know. I'll let your audience.
Like I said, more or less creepy. You're insinuating that you're creepy.
We all have a level of creepiness, John. Stop it.
So
some of us just hide it better than others.
I don't know. I got to check if I have any Jiggle physics games in my collection. I probably have a few here and there. I know one for sure is Ivy and Soul Calibur. There's some Jiggle physics there.
Yeah, there you go.
That's in my collection for sure. Mainly because I like Soul Calibur a lot. It's, in my opinion, one of the better fighting games or fighting franchises out there. I would say for me, it'd be like Barbie franchise games, to be honest. Like, I know there's some that can fetch a decent dollar, but it's just not something in particular I want in my collection. And now that I say that, I just realized I have Barbie on the Sega Genesis.
Is it Barbie Glamour Pups on 3DS or 2DS? One of the DS games. It's like a $3,000 game. It's ridiculous.
Jeez. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, some can fetch money, and it's worth picking them up if in that case. But for the most part, yeah, I wouldn't be caught with many of those in my collection.
Okay, well, I didn't know. Nothing. I thought you meant games that you'd be embarrassed to have. Well, I guess you would be embarrassed, but embarrassed in a different way. Forget it.
It's all right. It's all right. We're not live, but it's still going to technically be on the internet after all said and done. No, I mean, it's really the Barbie games, I think, at the end of the day. And then, like, little kid games, like I have Mrs. Spider's Tea Party on the
Why?
PS. I don't know. I don't even, and I got Blue's Clues on there too, along with Winnie the Pooh. I have no idea when I got those games.
Did you get them in a lot?
Probably. That's my assumption. I have no idea. And I've got like Spice World, the dancing game. That's another one.
Is that a Spice Girls?
Yeah, it's a Spice Girls game, but it's like, but it's dancing. It's like kind of like what is that game? It's not DDR. It's Bust a Groove. It's kind of like, is it Bust a Groove? Yeah,
it's a rhythm game.
Yeah, it's a rhythm-based game like Bust a Groove where you move the character feet and everything, but it's not as good as Bust a Groove, if I recall. I think my brother got it that one I know for a fact. My brother bought it years ago, and you know about him. And so at some point it must have transitioned into my collection.
Yeah. That's the story you're going with? Okay.
That's the story I'm going with. I did not put money towards that. I didn't put I didn't try to put money towards Blue's Clues and Miss Spider's Tea Party, but we do own those. In fact, we've reviewed both of those games on the podcast.
Oh, man. Yeah. I don't feel so.
One was a crappy game challenge that we got from an old co-host, and that's when we played Mrs. Spider's Tea Party. It wasn't terrible. And then the other one was Blue's Clues. That was a punishment for Ryan because he didn't complete Persona 4, I believe it was.
Yeah, I don't. Knowing you have this in your collection, I don't feel so bad about my Jiggle physics games.
At one point I tried to get the early education PS1 discs where it's like that box and it has, what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, one of them came through in a game shop I used to work in and manage years ago, and I think the manager I was working at the time was like, "Oh, we're going to list it for $60." I'm like, "I'm not going to pay $60 for a bunch of kid games and they're going to play and just want to throw in my collection." So like, give me 10. I'd take it for $10, but
how many in the set?
I think it's like 20.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. It's a pretty good amount, but it wasn't like complete. It was just like a box with half of it missing and a bunch of discs. I'm like, if I'm going to buy this for the money that we're asking, I'm going to do it the right way and get like the full blown, actual set.
Yeah.
So looking back on it now, I should have bought it for my son. Entry point into video games.
How old is he?
He's going on 2.
When are you gonna put a controller in his hands?
He just had one in his hands last night, and he's had him in his hands since he was a year old.
And his mouth as well, I'm sure.
So last night we were sitting on the couch playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and I did the old unplugged controller in his hands. So I'm sitting there playing, and he's pressing buttons and grabbing the control. Like he could grip the PS2 controller for no problem.
Nice.
Yeah. So he grabs the Switch controller all the time, turn on the Switch, and he broke one of the controllers on there. It was one of the pro type controllers, like a third party.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. My daughter, we give her a Switch. She's 7. She doesn't care. She's all about Roblox on her tablet. So, yeah.
You failed as a parent. Well,
well, it's still video games.
I guess it counts. Sometimes a C is okay. It's a passing grade.
Stop it.
All right, let's go into our articles here. So the first thing here is from Variety magazine. I don't know if they have a magazine anymore, but it's Variety. They have a website, and it's Xbox Game Pass is set to increase limit day one releases to its most expensive tier. So essentially, and I can't see on screen for your reaction here, but as of Wednesday, and I'm quoting directly from the article, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate Level will raise its price by $3 a month in the US, going from $16.99 to $19.99 for new customers. The core tier will rise from $59 for the 12-month pass to $69 for the annual fee. And then they're going to be raising PC from $9.99 to $11.99, and they're introducing a new standard pass, which is going to offer more features in core, but fewer than ultimate. So,
those are the exact same notes I copied and pasted into my notes, and that's exactly what I have written down here. But
so you just copied and pasted from them, and then I copied, mentally, I copied it from your side, directly from the article. Yeah, so I mean, this is to be expected. I mean, you got to consider the price inflation, inflation for one thing, and then the just sheer amount of studios that they've been purchasing, right? Like this had to happen at some point in time for them to make this, remotely close to profitable.
The prices going up on everything, like you said. This doesn't surprise me in the least.
Yeah,
I'm not too familiar with the Xbox Game Pass. Were there always broken down into tiers? I thought it was just one service and that was it.
Yeah, as far as I know, they've had. So I think they've had like a certain amount of releases that you're able to get. I don't have it either. I know PC has like X amount of games that you can get super cheap. PC's honestly the best option, really cheaper, and you still get whatever releases on there. I do know that they've had day one releases on both, clearly, because there's people angry about the fact that Core is getting rid of those releases. But I think that they had like more games available and you could keep them longer or something on the higher tiers and the lower tier. And they only had the 2 tiers, from my understanding. And I want to say Ultimate allows you to have both PC and Xbox, if I recall. And then the lowest tier was just Xbox, I think, if that's correct. That's I'm spouting it out of my ass at this point, but that's kind of my understanding. If I remember looking at it a long time ago, because I was kind of curious from a PC perspective if I should buy it for PC.
Doesn't Ryan have this service?
Yeah, he does. I think he has Core. And now that there's no day one releases, I am kind of curious what he's going to do. It does sound like Standard, of course, is going to have, more than the Core. It'll probably be a middle price. So if we're looking at $20 for the top tier, and then that looks like $60 a month is about, or 70, it's going to be about $6 a month, right? Is that what it comes out to? Yeah.
No, 60 divided by 12 is.
Yeah.
You're making me do math.
Yeah, it comes at about $5.50 a month or something like that. I'm just doing it on top of my head. So I would imagine you're probably looking at about maybe $100 a year for the middle tier is what I would guesstimate.
So, I don't like the idea. I mean, it's
a lot of people. A lot of people complained. They felt that it was a good system the way it was, and I don't mind a price increase so much. It's the breakdown in tiers. Like, why add confusion to something that is close to perfect? And in all honesty, like that's one of the things people hate about PlayStation Plus and the free level tiers and Essential and whatever hell else it is. Like, like cool, you get your free games every month, but essentially you don't have access to like the big library. And next one you got some access and you got more access. And then you have Nintendo, of course, with the Plus or whatever it is, and then the regular, which makes sense, right? You have access to X games. It's very clear. This Xbox had it right. I don't know why they did this. Like, just increase the price point.
Yeah, I don't know. Xbox, they're always making dumb decisions. They really do.
Yeah.
But no, I did hear also that there's a new app they're coming out with that you can play this thing on like Amazon Fire Sticks and whatnot. So there's more access there, and of course you can get them. Excuse me, you can get this thing on TVs now. I don't know which TV has this as a Game Pass that you can load up in.
It's Samsung.
Samsung?
Yeah, Samsung TVs. They had a partnership with them that they announced. I don't remember how long ago. I think it was late last year.
You play? Is there a Samsung controller, or is it just an Xbox controller?
I have no idea. I would assume it's an Xbox controller and probably works with third-party controllers that are, compatible. But Bluetooth, I don't have I have a Sony TV, so I don't have Samsung.
Yeah, it's just the way things are going. This whole digital thing, and I don't understand the tiers. I got the basic tier for Sony.
Same.
Yeah, just so I can play online. But
I don't even do it for online. I just do it because I get the few games every month. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. And yeah, But I might even cancel that because I think they're like $80 now in the essential.
I don't know. My girlfriend pays that bill. I don't.
Yeah, I just got an auto charge the other day for like $80, I think.
$80. That's a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was 70 or 80. I'm pretty sure it was 80.
You sure? Because I think it's like $100 a year is what we pay.
No, I paid like $80.
Hmm.
Whatever the lowest tier is, it's $80.
Yeah. It's $10 a month. Are you sure? I think we. Yeah.
Well, $10 a month is $120, and then they usually have a break for an annual purchase. So that would make sense at $8 or $7 a month, whatever it comes out to.
I would like to get into the other tiers, but I hate just not being able to, because I got it once, the next level tier up, or the one with PlayStation on it, 2 games on it.
Yeah,
got that, enjoyed it, and then after a month, I just got it for the 1 month. I don't know why, just to give it a try. It was nice, it was okay, but streaming PS3 games is kind of weird. It's sketchy at best, even with good internet. It's just.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're talking about backwards compatibility for PS3. You guys probably talked about that. We talked about it as well, where you can do it natively on the PS5. They're looking into that. If that happens, I'm excited because I have no problem. I mean, that to me is what's really missing from the PS5 is more backwards compatibility. I mean, you've got it with Xbox all the way into original Xbox into current generation. I don't know why Sony can't figure this out.
Like, I'm waiting for them, because I think I'm of the opinion that once they figure that out, PS3 on PS5, they're going to close the PS3 store, and that's what I'm waiting. That's what I'm waiting for. So the PS3 games spike again, and I can get rid of what's left in that collection on my shelf.
Gotcha.
I just want to reinvest it into PS4 games.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into the next thing here, and that is Magic the Gathering fans are furious about Bloomburrow's value booster and what it represents. This is Destructoid. I know you're not a big Magic fan, so I'll just dive into this myself real quick. Essentially, what they are releasing, and so if you follow Magic the Gathering, they took all of their draft boosters and their set boosters, and they said, we're going to combine them to be a play booster, which is supposed to have the value of both. You have the ability to get more rares, cards off the list. It allows you to still do drafting while also maintaining the set booster value that they were presenting, which is fine. They just announced that. People have been kind of mixed on it, but I've played it and opened a few packs. I thought it was pretty good. Now, this Bloomburrow value booster is essentially half the price. It's half the size. So instead of getting like your standard 15 cards, you're getting 7 cards. You're getting, I think it's 3 commons, 2 uncommons, a wild card, which may or may not be a rare, and then you are also getting a land or an art card, essentially is what you're getting. So the may or may not get a rare is the big piece here. So essentially you could be paying $2 per pack to get a bunch of trash, and it's pissing people off. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's more expensive for card players or new players, and that's what they're trying to do, is institute this for new players who may not know much about Magic and want to get into it but don't want to spend a ton of money. Honestly, the best way to do that is buy a pre-con deck. Just get a deck that's pre-made for standard. It's already kind of built up for you. You can play with that, or commander deck, whatever it may be, that's preset, and that could be your introduction. It's a little higher price, but you're not gambling with a few bucks at a time on a bunch of trash. So I think that's what's upsetting people. There's no true value. It ends up being pricier long term, and it's just Wizards, or I guess Hasbro again, putting something out there that they don't need to from a product perspective.
Yeah, so, more stuff to buy, more money for the big wigs.
Well, it's assuming that they even sell much of his product. I mean, to me, it's really kind of preying on new gamers or new Magic players who may not know so much about it, not really considering that you're going to have more frequent players such as myself that as those new players jump and say, oh, I'm going to buy these value boosters, be like, no, just don't buy any boosters. Just go for this or buy singles, whatever it may be. So I think this is one of those situations where I think they'll do it. They might do it for a couple sets and they'll get enough significant backlash or a lack of people actually buying the product that they'll stop.
In a 15 card booster pack,
yeah,
is it? Are you guaranteed a rare or?
You're guaranteed a rare. Usually in these new sets, you're guaranteed a foil. You're guaranteed like a wild card. Sometimes you get 2 or 3 rares in some of those packs. So they really put a lot of emphasis on rare cards, which are usually your better cards. But in Magic, you could have rares that are worth like 20 cents. And then you could have rares that are worth, hundreds of dollars. It just depends on what you're pulling. I mean, it's legal gambling. It's what it is for youngsters. So I rarely buy boosters. I usually just buy the cards I need directly. To me, there's no point in cracking open a bunch of packs unless I'm drafting Magic, and that's usually you're with a bunch of buddies opening some packs, playing the decks that you make, and keeping the cards that you get. And it's a cheaper option, anyways. Like a few friends, we spent about $20 for each of us. 6 of us, we spent $20 a pop, and we each got 6 packs. I mean, that from a value perspective, that's breaks down to like $3 and something, $3 a pack or so. And instead of the like $5 at local shops are charging per pack.
I don't know, man. If I were into the game, if I played the game, I think the gambling aspect of getting a booster and hoping and praying for something rare and exciting, I find that rather enticing.
Let's see, what I do is I buy my cards outright, make my deck, spend however much money I need to, and then depending on where you play, the prize support is booster packs generally or store credit. So I've done that, and then I've pulled good cards that way. One of the more recent experiences I had was I had enough store credit that I picked up like 10 booster packs from the shop, and I cracked it open and got an $80-something card and sold it. So, like that's what I do. And it's less money that I got to spend at the end of the day.
Do you sell eBay or do you sell it to guys in the shop, to the shop?
TCG. I don't sell locally for, I mean, like offer up and all that shit. Like,
yeah,
you put up an $80 card, be like, oh, I'll buy it for 40. Same thing in video games. You got $300 in video game merchandise. Like, oh, I'll give you $100 and, I'll let you watch me, do
flip
weird
it on eBay.
Stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it's not worth it. All right, let's go into our inflation deflation segment of the week. This is Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and it was developed, of course, by Capcom. It was published by Capcom, and it was released in early 2000 for the arcade. It is a fighting game. Reception on the PS2 is actually an 8 out of 10. So just throwing that out there. I think arcade is the highest rated, if I recall. Overall synopsis is Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Players select a team of characters from Marvel and Capcom universes to engage in combat and attempt to knock out their opponents. So pretty much picture your traditional tag team style of fighting where you can bring somebody in or out, depending on what your life bar is. And instead of 2 people, it's 3 individuals. So that's what you get in MVC2. I mean, I played this game multiple times over the years. I've owned it multiple times. To me, this is one of the better fighting games that's out there. A lot of it, in my opinion, is because of the amount of characters and the variety of characters from both of those worlds. So I'm always happy to play with like Spider-Man and Wolverine. That's always been like a go-to for me. And then seeing that mashup is always kind of cool. And then like mechanic wise, like to me, it's always been an easier fighting game for me to play. It's and I'm not very good at fighting games, so it's nice to be able to button mash and kind of get some weird combos going in that game. And then your specials are super easy. It's always like down right and like L1 or no, it's the quarter. It's the quarter turn, right? Down right. Yeah. Down right L1 and I think down right L2 if I recall. And then swapping your character is pretty easy as well. So yeah, graphically on PS2, I think it still holds up very nicely. I don't think there's any issues there. Of course, you'll kind of comment on the PS3 aspects. Music is good. So controls are great. Configurations for the different characters are great too in terms of overall buttons, and having the move list is always kind of nice too in those games. So I was able to kind of dive into that and practice a little bit in advance. So I mean, overall, it's a fighting game. I mean, they're a dime a dozen, but there's a tier. But hold on, I was going to finish. There are tiers of fighting games where you have like your top tier games, your middle tier, and then your low tier fighting games. A lot of that is dependent on pace of a game, graphics, art of control is actually pretty good. Like how fluid does the game feel? This to me is a higher tier fighting game.
Among the fighting game community, this thing is beloved. It's it's top tier.
Yeah.
I played for a good probably 40 minutes before I jumped on here with you, and I was running through with Akuma from Street Fighter fame, BB Hood from Darkstalkers, I believe, and Shuma Garath. I think that's a Marvel character, a Marvel bad person. I don't know. I'm not familiar with this. It's just a big green thing with tentacles and one big eye in the middle. But
Yeah.
it's just fun. And it's really over the top. It's wacky. It introduced a lot of mechanics that are now a staple in fighting games, and I can't wait. I can't wait for the Marvel versus Capcom collection to drop. I'm really excited for that. And
Yeah, that's one I think I'm going to get at some point. Mainly because, like you said, it's a collection of games, so it's one of the pros of that, but also just the upgraded nature of it, right? I mean, you're getting something that's now on. I think it's only on PS4 and PS5, right, and Switch, but it's not going on Xbox right away.
yeah. They're not putting it on they're not putting it on Xbox. They're not putting it on PS5 either.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, it's PS4 only. That's right.
Yeah, because something about the engine's already in place and translated. I don't know, technical gobbledygook.
Laziness, basically.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. These supposedly the versions on the collection will be arcade versions, so looking forward to that. I love the music in Marvel versus Capcom too. That never heard anything like that before in any sort of video game. And you got this crazy wacky jazz. I'm gonna take you for a ride. Oh man,
Yeah, you sent that to me, and I was like, and that's the thing. Like that song, the second you sent it to me on Messenger before we hopped on, I was like, oh, MVC2.
yeah,
Like right away. Like it's just one of those iconic things that you just, if you played the game, you know that song.
Yeah, and yeah, it just plays well. I even busted out the fighting stick to play this one.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, I got one. Yeah, just one fighting stick. The fighting sticks that come and go out of the clock. I need a PS4 or PS5 one, but this is my only PS3 controller fighting stick, and yeah, it's quarter circle back. Who do you like? Who do you main with usually?
When I played a game, I do like to play with Wolverine. Jill Valentine is always kind of fun to play with, and then Ryu for sure. Like that's the character a lot of people end up going to, but Wolverine for sure is the one that I always enjoyed. I do like his combos. I like the speed of Wolverine and what he's able to do, and just in my opinion, it's just a cool character to play with.
Normal or turbo?
Just normal.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm getting that point where turbo is not even something I want to deal with.
Well, you say yourself, a lot of it's just button mashing. When you're catching a beat down, you're like, you just panic and just start flapping your arms. Eventually, something cool comes out, and that's the nice thing about fighting games. It's just it's the button mashing game of all button mashers. And
yeah, for sure. I mean, now there's people that are really damn good at it and would destroy you. If you're a button masher, like talk about losing in perfect games, like that's what you end up with some of those bigger players. But kind of thinking about fighting games in general in terms of button mashing, I was talking about Soul Calibur earlier. That's a game that I feel I can actually consistently win in that game against non-major fighting players without button mashing, because there's a lot of it's systematic when you play a game like that. It's a slower pace. It allows you to kind of combo off. And as long as you know your character's moves, you can do pretty well in that game. But something like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the speed of it is what kind of turns me off from playing pretty heavily. And it's just one of those good games. Like if you have somebody that's not very good at fighting games, you're not very good as well. It's nice to just kind of button mash against one another and just kind of freak out when like something cool happens, like you said.
Did you see that?
It's like, how did I do that? I don't know.
I played this many times over the years, and there was a point where I reached a certain level of proficiency, but if you don't use it, you lose it. So
yeah.
But I know I quick refresher of looking over the moves list, and then I could hold my own. I mean, I'm not going online and doing anything over online, but you can still play. You can still play the PS3 version online as well.
Oh, nice.
I found not this time, but the last time I played, I found a couple players out there still. So
very nice. Well, looking at a complete in box or brass tacks on this game. So complete box, you're looking at 152, peaked at 211 back in May of 2021. The price on that's actually holding kind of steady. Had a little bit of a drop now, but it's got some peaks and valleys that are staying pretty consistent. Loose price, you're looking at 120. That peaked at 147 back in May of last year. That price as well is kind of holding steady. In terms of other places you can buy it, you can get on Xbox, you can go on Dreamcast. Some of them are more expensive than others. I think it's on digital and PC. I didn't really look into that too much. And then, of course, it's on preservation devices all over the place. So, yeah. And I think, didn't they release an arcade through like Arcade 1-Up or whatever it's called?
Yeah, there was an
That had
arcade
this.
one up. Yeah, and
Yeah. So,
I believe you can take that one online and play with it online as well.
yeah. I would say, considering the new game or new collection will be coming out, I would say that this game is probably inflated at that 152 complete in box. It's a nice piece of fighting game history. It's definitely one that if you're big into fighters, you want to add in your collection, and if you don't have it now, you might want to wait.
Yeah, I would say it's inflated too. I don't know, $100 would be a good price for me on this. I would buy a copy at $100 is what I'm saying.
Yeah, like a nice minty complete in box copy.
Well, that was before the announcement. Now I wouldn't touch it for
There you go.
75.
Yeah, I mean, a new game, it's going to be like what, $70 on release for the collection.
Yeah,
So
yeah, 60.
yeah, I mean, you're getting the superior version as well when you're getting the arcade version put onto console. So, I mean, that's probably the way to go. And even at that point, like, why buy it at 70? You can wait 6 months for whatever period of time it is and get it on sale.
Oh, who knows? I don't know. This collection might go up. Who knows what the future will bring?
That's a good point, considering limited prints from a lot of these companies right now on disc-based games. So, yeah, we'll see. All right. Well, this one is definitely inflated. The next game, ooh, man, I should have pulled this up before. Actually, I do have it up because Ryan is really good about actually putting up the games. The next game that we're going to have is Mortal Kombat Deception. That one I have set up for PlayStation 2, but of course that is on multiple consoles as well. So we'll dive into that in the next episode. But for now, you've listened to episode 295 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John. I've been joined by Will of the PlayStation Ain't Dead Podcast. And thanks for listening.
Good night.